Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with My Hero Academia Season 6 episode number 17 reaction. Okay, the previous episode we got to see Hawks' backstory, what happened to him as a child. We got to see his dad. Obviously we knew that his dad was like a criminal and how he got captured. It was like a very interesting way they kind of told us the story, where we saw how Hawks was that one kid who thought heroes were like part of the other world on the other side of the screen. Heroes don't exist. Like that type of thing, like when we look at a television screen, see something happening on the other side, we do know that this is actually happening, but at the same time, we think this is not part of our world. That type of feeling he had, unless and until in the end, where Endeavor captures his dad, and that's when he realizes that, oh no, this is like, like the heroes exist. And which is kind of like a contrast to how what happened to the League of Villains. Unfortunately, they were not saved like this. That is why they fell into the wrong, fell under what's his name, all for one's, gaze, and he took them and started manipulating them, and like that's the unfortunate thing. However, Hawks was fortunate enough to not go in that direction, and yeah, he became, I guess you could say, hero, even though he did his stuff in a, like a more like a covert way. He did more like spy type activities. He was still a hero. And yeah, and in the end we see him going to his house and realizing his mom has left, because like people came in and tried to interrogate him. From Dabi, the League of Villains, they sent people. And here we see Hawks take the decision that what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, if like, since the organization doesn't have any leash around him anymore, for now, no more orders are coming. What now he's going to do is trying to help the person who made him like this, which is Endeavor. He'll try to help him now. Obviously Endeavor is having his own problems, lots of media outside, people are blaming him, and the whole hero society is going down, completely. People are blaming, like, the heroes, and at the same time they also want protection from the heroes, which is kind of ironic. At the same time, they are like outside Endeavor's place, outside the hospital, the media and everything. And Endeavor breaks down, and yeah, his family comes in at that moment, and we see the mom is here as well. So I think the mom is going to talk about something. I don't know what. Let's see what she's going to say. All right, episode number 17. Yeah, let us begin. I'll be putting subtitles on the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's get started. Right, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, is this the past? Yeah. Hey, yo, look at his tie. What the? Oh boy. Damn, the family is yeah. Yeah. Damn. Damn. Himura. Damn. Oh my god. Wow. Oh wait, is that the flower she was holding when she came in the hospital room? Yeah, that's what she's holding. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hmm. Yeah, that's true. Like Darby's the one who's suffering as well, you know. Oh boy. Okay. Oh, it's this. Yeah, Darby. Oh boy. Yeah, people are going to like just. He's waiting for the television. He's like waiting in front of the television. Damn. The wrong way to put out a fire. Interesting title. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Is this quirk fat or something? Oh, eyes and the cone. Wait, what? So wait, his. Oh, good God. Damn. All Might with his pose. Oh, his hair. Damn. So I guess that is why he has so many burned, like you know, like his hands and everything is like burnt. Like I'm talking about Dabi. That is why, since he's not accustomed to flames, cannot tolerate it. What? Oh wait, did he say that? Yeah, he wants to stop. Is that what he's? Yeah. Okay. And then Shoto came in. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh no, then Natsu came, then Shoto. Okay, okay, okay. Never mind. Damn. Mm, well, yeah, that's why he became a villain. Good God. Oh my God. Damn. Oh, yeah. Yo, Toto. Mm. Oh, the. Oh, is this where he gets burnt? Yeah. Like then the mom. Okay. Hmm. You know what? Hmm. Well, nothing will get in his head now, and like this is how he has been. He has grown up. Hmm. And this broke her mom, and this affected Toto, Shoto as well. With the. Oh. Oh. Damn. I wonder when he met the League of Villains. Let's see. They're probably going to show us here. Okay. So. Oh my God. Okay, no, so the burn didn't happen still. Oh yeah, then the oh God. Oh boy. Yeah, and oh God, and this is when oh God, Shoto's yeah yeah. This happened, and then oh boy, one after the other. Yeah. Okay, we have the whole picture here. Good God, like so many wrong decisions, one after the other, Endeavor made. So he ended up burning himself because of the. Okay, so that's why this part is burned. Okay, okay. Hmm. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Oh no. Who's? Wait, what the? Who? Oh, it's Hawks. I was like, whose voice is this? Oh my God. Illegal. Those of us can. Yeah, we still don't know how he got in contact with the League of Villains. Okay. Hmm. Close. Okay, he connected the dots now. Yeah, but he was able to do that. Yeah. 6 other prisons have been breached. Okay, great. Taking things up in their hands. Okay, oh, okay. Paperwork to dispatch heroes can be completed. Huh. Hmm. Top three, yeah. Hmm. Okay. Oh yeah, that. But I will people listen? I don't know. Okay, how? Unclear. Ooh. Hmm. Yeah. Well, I knew this was going to happen. Like people are going to suspect something. Why Deku did that? Why? These questions. I feel like it's time to come out now. Like in no way. Oh my god. They finally like. Oh boy. Okay. Hmm. Oh my god. Stop. Stop with that name. But we do need. He's like, all right. You know what? Perfect timing. Yeah. Oh, okay. Is that why he's like unconscious now? Ah. Okay, maybe next episode we'll see what he's talking about. Oh, that was a good episode. We actually got the whole picture as to what happened. Like up until now, we were getting fragments of what happened with Endeavor and his family, and today I feel like the little amounts of recap that we saw, the recollection we saw, kind of filled up all the blanks, and the whole picture is out now. Like what exactly happened with like how it started, the whole Endeavor situation and how it ended. All the blank portions has been filled up, and we know the full picture now. The whole what happened to Toya and all that. Okay, so yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, obviously, we can looking at the whole thing, we can see that, like, what can I say? Like 65, no, not 65, 70% of the fault was with Endeavor. Maybe 10% with the mom, and like 5% with the siblings. The whole problem. Why I'm including them as well is because, like the mom said, that she also had a responsibility. Because, okay, is that it? That's it. So yeah, why am I including like Toya's mom and the siblings as well? Why am I including them in this equation as well? Like I said, 70% fault lied on Endeavor, 10% the mom, and 5% for the individual siblings. Why am I including them? What fault did they have? And like the mom said, obviously, she was the mother of everyone. Obviously, her whole situation was definitely what Endeavor, like, the most of the problem was brought in by Endeavor. His complete obsession with All Might and to surpass him. Everything was born from that. So I understand all of that. Obviously, she was a victim in this, but at the same time, you have to also realize that she was a victim, but at the same time, she was also the mother of the children. So the fact that she wasn't able to properly, what can I say, like, talk to Toya, even though Toya was kind of hitting her hard where it hurts, hitting her in the sections where it hurt for her, talking about how she was sold by, her family and all that. Even though he did that, she, being the mom, she realizes now that she should have ignored all of that and probably grabbed Toya and said that, no, don't go, stop doing all of this, and try to, bring him in, like, and properly care for him. And little by little, she started getting afraid of looking at her own children, especially Todoroki, Toya, all of them as well, because their eyes started seeming like Endeavor, which was definitely the reason of, like continuous everyday mental pressure and stress, which is understandable. Like I said, that's not her fault, that's Endeavor's fault. Endeavor made her like that. But at the same time, you have to realize that in that house, the only ally that the children had was probably her. So her breaking down at that point, made all the children vulnerable completely. Like she was probably their own like their only ally. But her breaking down and her turning on her children didn't help the situation, made it even worse. So if you look at it in that way, obviously the children, what can they do in that situation? If you look at it in that way, you could say that, yeah, she was the victim definitely, but at the same time, she should have, like, at least for her children, she should have, like, just, yeah. But like I said, like, most of the problem definitely leads to, like, false on Endeavor, and that is why I'm saying Endeavor is like 70% of the problem. 10% was the mom, because she should have at least thought about her children at that moment and tried to take it out. I know it's not easy, but you have to think everything from the perspective of the children. Think everything from the perspective of the children. In that house, they're all alone if the mom becomes like that. So that's why I'm saying that her being the adult at that moment, she could have done that, but obviously I don't blame her for breaking down. So that's why the mom also said, like, like, yeah, I'm also a little bit at fault here. And that's why the whole family was like, we all share the fault about the whole Dabi situation. And why did I include the siblings as well? You remember when Dabi was talking to Natsu, talking about how, oh, like, like you, okay, I'm going to read that part. Like, every character individually talks about what they did wrong here. Where is that part? Where everyone talks about, even, okay, here's the part. Let's go to the part where the siblings talk about the situation. Okay, Fuyumi, is that her name? The sister? Todoroki's sister. Yeah, she says, even though I knew we were breaking apart, I was too scared to dig deep. There you go. That was the thing that she did wrong. So you could see how Toya had this obsession with how he had this, like, thing in his head where he thought that, oh, the women are useless here. So I can only talk to the, like, the only, my only ally who could have been Natsu. So he was trying to talk to Natsu, him being the only male person there. Obviously, Shoto was also there, but Shoto wasn't really, at that age that she could talk with him. And also the fact that he didn't like Todoroki at all, Shoto at all, because of the jealousy thing, because dad pays more attention to him. That thing, So that's why he never talked to Fuyumi, and Fuyumi never dug deep because she was afraid of the situation. So you could say that was a slight little fault. That's why I'm saying, like, all the siblings, they had like little, like, they're like a very little percentage. Obviously, they are at fault as well. So this was what Fuyumi did wrong. She never really dug too deep because she was afraid and she thought like everyone is breaking apart. So never got herself involved in that. All I did was keep up appearances. And obviously, Natsu, the thing with Natsu was that Natsu, even though, what's his name? Toya, yeah. Even though Toya came in and tried to talk to him, he said like, oh, why don't you talk to Fumi? Obviously, can't blame him. Every time, I'm sure he did that, brought up all these things to Natsu, and Natsu was like, leave me alone. Why are you bothering me about this? And yeah, obviously he did not realize at that moment what Toya was going through. So if maybe Natsu talked with him, tried to sympathize with him, or tried to make him come out of that situation, something could have happened. But like I said, they're young. What could they know about all of this? Like, they're too young to understand the complexity of a human brain and what people are feeling, what, like human emotions. They're too young for that. So that's why I'm like, yeah, they're not at fault, but at the same time, maybe if you think about it like that, slight, very small percentage, maybe they were also at fault. That's why everyone was like, yeah, like, like it's not only you. Yeah, obviously you're the maximum, the biggest reason. That's something we all agree on. But yeah, we were also at fault. Small little things. Obviously, Todoroki was the only one who was not at fault at all in this whole thing because he really didn't have any choice in this. He never was really let close to any of the other siblings at all. He was completely isolated. You could say, if you could think about this, he was probably the only victim. He and Toya, I guess you could say, both of them were probably the only two victims, like especially Shoto, because he just got used from the beginning of his birth. He got used by Endeavor, and not only that, the only ally that she had, that was his mom, also broke down by the end of it and threw water on his face, boiling water. So he's the biggest victim in this whole situation, and then comes Toya, obviously. And yeah, and all the others were little bits and pieces. They had their own faults with the whole situation as well. So there you go, that was the whole thing. And yeah, that's like, everyone has come to that agreement now. But definitely Endeavor was the biggest one. Like, not 70%, let me say 80%. 80% of the fault was Endeavor. 10% was what was her name? Ray, wasn't it? Yeah, their mom. 10% was Ray, and maybe 5% and 5% was Natsu and Fuyumi. So there you go. That's the whole, if you break down in percentage, the whole situation. So yeah, like, there you go. Now after that, okay, so that out of the way, let's talk about this whole episode from the beginning. First of all, we get to see the past where Endeavor and Ray met, and like Endeavor, we see both of them face to face, and the family, Himura family, that's the name, and the ice work of the Himura family. So obviously this is like a arranged marriage, like, just because, what did they call it, the exact term they used for this? Wait a minute, just a minute. Okay, spouse. Okay, she was a woman like eyes. It was more or less made to look like arranged marriage. But oh, quirk marriage, that was the name. Yeah, quirk marriage. So there you go. Everyone knew what was going on. The her family, they wanted to be in the, he was the top two hero, one of the top two heroes. So they wanted their family to be somehow involved with them. Obviously, that is why they basically, if you think about it like that, sold her off to them. And yeah, and Endeavor wanted someone with the pure ice quirk because of his obsession. Like, I'm thinking, how can someone become like this obsessed with some person, All Might, who is, and be this much bitter? Like, I'm kind of interested in seeing Endeavor's story now. Like, Endeavor's past from his childhood. What the hell happened with his life? Like, how did he how did he grow up that he became this type of a person? Like, what went wrong in his life? I'm so curious. Like, how can someone be that obsessed? Wasn't there anyone who was there to stop him? Who knows? Maybe his parents. What about his parents? I don't think we have any idea about who his parents are. So what about them? What about anyone in his life who were probably like, you know what, Endeavor, time to stop. Get some help. That where was that person who told Endeavor that? There was no one probably in his life like that. So that's why he became like this. Like, I'm so curious that why was he like, why did he come to this stage? Like, wasn't there anyone to stop him? I'm not sure. But anyways, it doesn't look like anyone was there to stop him. And that's why he became like this, completely obsessed with All Might. Like, oh, I'm going to beat All Might, this and that. And yeah, like, this is the thing, like, rivalry is good, but not when you take it to this level. This is just very bad, very unhealthy, very toxic. And it's just, like, what can I say? Oh my god. But anyways, yeah, so Endeavor, when he was going back, obviously, like, here's the thing. Endeavor is not a bad person. If you are able to exclude his obsession with All Might, if you take that section out of him, that obsession with All Might, I'm going to do anything to surpass him. If you take that thing and just extract it out, the rest of the remaining person is like a very nice guy, like a normal person. So that's the only problem he has. So we can see here when he's coming back, he does know the whole situation. He does realize what's going on, that they basically sold her off to him. And he also realizes that she must be feeling very, very, like, awkward, bad, sad about the whole situation. Because imagine your family selling you off, literally selling you off to someone just because they want to be somehow involved in the top two, their family, and just making you the scapegoat in that. And she doesn't know who the hell Endeavor is, doesn't know what type of person he is, basically being sold off for quirk marriage. So that's how she was coming back. So Endeavor, we can see Endeavor realizes that, understands the severity of the situation, and like, he kind of makes observations about her and sees that she's looking at the flowers, and Endeavor is like, oh, do you like flowers? And she says that yes, they're very pretty. Strong, but seeming like she'd melt and vanish at one touch. Okay, there you go. So yeah, you can see that he's sympathetic about the situation, obviously, but the only thing that the problem he has is the whole obsession with All Might. If you take that out, he's a good guy. But yeah, so after that, we see that little section in the beginning. Then we're back to the present again, where the whole family is here, and Ray has come in, and she says that you're not the only one at fault, we're also at fault. And obviously then we start getting to see, then the opening starts, and then after that we see Darby's just waiting in one of the hideouts, I'm guessing, and he's like, oh, I can't wait to see Dad on television, wonder what he'll say, haha. He's very excited to see the television. He's waiting with popcorn in his hand to just see how Dad is going to face all the media and everything. And yeah, and he's like, and he's like, "Oh, look at me!" And here you can see, like, blood starts dripping from his eyes, which I guess was an indication where, later on we get to see in his past where he says that whenever I get excited, I start crying or something. He says, so I guess it's some kind of indication like that, like bloody tears are coming out, and he's pretty excited about the situation. And yeah, like, which is kind of sad because, like he says that, oh, like, look at me. Like, that's all he have wanted throughout the rest of his life, from the very young age. He wanted Endeavor to look at him, and that's all, and Endeavor never did that. So yeah. Okay, now after that we get to see the past, you know and we see how Toya, became what happened with the whole Toya situation. So at first we see them, Endeavor and Ray, going to the doctor, and here the doctor says his quirk factor shows a stronger tendency towards the flame quirk, but his body appears to have taken after his mother's side, which is kind of interesting. So his quirk is like flame quirk, it's more accustomed to that. However, his body is like the mother's body. That means his body seems to tolerate ice and cold better than flames, and that's why he gets burned. So basically, he's good at using his fire quirk. He's more accustomed to that, and that's why he uses fire. However, his body is more like his mom, which is accustomed to ice. So that is why his body is not able to withstand that high temperature. It burns, it burns, gets burned. And okay, interesting. I guess this, yeah, you know what? Like, since both of the like Endeavor is like full flame and the mom is full ice, this could have happened if they had a child with, like anything could have happened. Like, so basically his quirk got the tendency of the dad, while his body got the tendency of the mom, which obviously made it more difficult for him to use his quirk because he's going to get burnt. And yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I understand the whole situation now, why he was getting burned, which obviously is something that Endeavor never wanted. Endeavor always wanted someone who was going to have half ice, half, well, hot, so that he can use like what Todoroki does, Shoto does. He whenever he uses his flame, you remember in season 2 he kind of explained, whenever he uses too high temperature of flame, he uses the ice to cool him down at the same time, which obviously something Toya won't be able to do because he only uses fire. So there you go. That was the only problem he had. And otherwise, he, like, Toya, if Toya could use ice as well, he probably would be like Shoto as well, kind of like him. So there you go. That was the whole thing. Now, immediately Endeavor realized that in no way he will be able to surpass All Might. And this is so, what can I say? This part, you see when he's listening and he's kind of like, shaking his hand is like this. I was thinking, oh, maybe he's actually concerned about him, Little did I know what he was thinking. Like, this part when he was saying, like, in worst case scenario, if he keeps using this, he could burn himself with his own flames. And we can see Endeavor's like, eyes are shaking, hands are shaking, and he's like, and I'm thinking, oh my god, like, he must be concerned about him. Oh my god. Then the next scene, we see him thinking in his head, he's like, Toya, I thought you could surpass All Might. And I'm like, oh well, yeah, obviously that's exactly what he's thinking. He's not, oh god, like, what the... I was actually thinking he's concerned about him at that point, because I thought he was like, actually, like, oh my god, like, yeah, he's going to burn himself, let me stop him from doing it. Because I don't know why, but I thought that he had his obsession, but at the same time he was also kind of concerned about Toya. You remember in one of the past flashbacks, in one of the previous episode, where he told Toya that, oh, like, you don't have to, like, you don't have to, what did he say? That, oh, he's like him, like, he doesn't have to surpass All Might, he can become stronger on his own, in his own way. So, and then when, like, Todoroki born, he again became this monster possessed with the, like, the ambition of surpassing All Might. He became that monster again. That part, that is why I was thinking maybe he was a little bit concerned about him at that point, and he was like, yeah, like, let me stop him from doing this. But nah, he's like, oh, like, he won't be able to surpass All Might. And I'm like, okay, obviously that's what he's thinking. So there you go. Like, Oh boy, like it's so baffling. How can someone be like this? Like why? Like this whole obsession with All Might, I can understand at some degree as to how someone can be obsessed about something, but this is like way past that degree. Like, how I'm so surprised to see someone who's this obsessed with something. Is baffling. Like how can how is this even possible? But yeah, this is Endeavor. He's just like that. Okay, anyways, after that, we see in front of the television, we can see Toya's like looking at All Might in the television, and he's like, "Oh, I can surpass him, you know." But Dad doesn't let me use, let me use the quirk. I burn myself, and Fumi is also like, "I don't want you to get hurt either." So yeah, you stop that. But and you can see here, like this is the time when Toya asked Fuyumi for, I guess, advice, because what's his name? Nasu wasn't born at this point. So we can see where he's like, oh, like, the women don't understand anything. From this point, because, like Fuyumi said that to him, he got this thing in his head that, yeah, they won't understand me. Only my dad and I can see the ambition. He became kind of like his dad, kind of, and tried to become someone that the dad wanted him to be. And here we go. You can see he's saying like, "Oh, you won't understand. Girls wouldn't understand." There you go. And just leaves. So there you go. And here, yeah, and he goes back and he's like, "Oh, Dad is the one who lit this flame in me." And okay, so after that, we see Endeavor is like, "Oh no, he cannot surpass All Might." He's like, Ray, stop him from, doing any more of these things. So yeah, so here's one of the biggest mistakes that Endeavor made here, which we see him continuing to do later as well, up till the end, which is he never faced his son after this. One of the biggest mistakes he could have ever done. And I feel like this is the biggest reason what made Toya Dabi. He never faced him after that, from that point onwards, never. And that's the only thing that Toya wanted, for Dad to face him. And like obviously he started getting more jealous of Shoto because he thought that he's putting more, attention to him because he's more like the person he wanted and all that. And that's why he kept continuing to practice, trying to surpass All Might and surprise his dad. Obviously the dad doesn't want that, and the dad is like, "Oh, I cannot face him. Ray, you face him, you tell him." There you go. That's basically one of the biggest reasons why he became like that. And I feel like if Endeavor was the one who faced Toya from that, even from that point onwards as well, maybe this wouldn't have happened. But no, he never faced him after that. And to make him face him, Toya kept continuing to do more practice and training. And even in the end, where Toya was like, "Oh, come to the park," even then the dad didn't come, and there you go. The Endeavor never faced him after that. And it's obviously, I don't know, I feel like that was also another way for him. Like he's obviously a human being, Endeavor. He has a conscience, and I feel like that's his way of running away from that situation, where he never wanted to face Toya because he knows what type of a bad, not parent, I was going to say what type of a bad parent, but what type of a bad type of a human being he is, for just, like using his son like that. And when his son is no more useful to him, just toss him aside. Like he knows that's the type of person he is. And him being a human being, having a conscience, he started being afraid of facing Toya, because facing Toya would make him realize what type of a bad human being he is, just looking at him. And yeah, that's why he just shoved it all on Ray, and he's like, "Yeah, Ray, you do it. I'm not going to face him anymore from this point onwards. I'm, I'm more busy with Shoto." Either way, yeah. After that point, we see the next son. who is Natsu gets born, and obviously Natsu's also not the person he he wanted, because he's not half hot, half cold. So yeah, Endeavor is not happy as well. Ray day after day starts getting more and more, what can I say, more and more worn down, just completely emotionally broken. And yeah, then finally comes Shoto, and there you go. Here another, what can I say, like another reason why Toya becomes Dabi happens. That is Shoto's birth. So after Shoto was born, obviously Endeavor starts putting all attention on Shoto, and this definitely makes Toya more and more miserable. He realizes that he's not of any use anymore, and yeah, he starts practicing and training more to surprise his dad, to maybe, you know, surpass All Might. And yeah, from that point onwards, obviously Endeavor was like, oh, Toya, you go and play with the other kids, your siblings, so you don't have to be a hero anymore. Oh god, another, like, what, like Toya said, he was the one who lit the fire inside of him, and now he's saying you don't have to be a hero anymore. Like, imagine that. Oh boy. And obviously Toya is like, what the hell, like, why are you saying this to me? You're the one who made me like this, and now you're just completely denying my existence. Like, and I'm not, like, what am I supposed to be then? You, for you, I'm just a person who could surpass All Might. So if you're taking that away from me as well, what's my identity? That's basically the thing here. And yeah, like, this is happens when your parents look at you just like some kind of a, like some kind of a, like a product, or some kind of a, like, thing just used for a certain objective. This is what happens. Obviously parents don't do that. They unconditionally love their children. However, for Endeavor, that was not the case. He just wanted someone who could surpass All Might. And as soon as that happens, obviously the child starts getting this like existential crisis, I think that's what you call it, where he's like now thinking, like, if I'm not useful in becoming the person that Endeavor wanted me to be, to surpass All Might, then what am I? What am I here for then? Like, am I useless? What's my worth? But yeah, that's the thing. Like, no children are able to prove their worth unless and until they get to a certain age. Then they're able to, like, when they're adult, at least they're able to prove their worth, and they can, contribute something to the society, to the parents, and everything. Not before that. Before that is the situation, like, the time period when they're completely dependent on the parents, and the parents unconditionally provides for them because they love them. That's the normal thing that happens. However, this family is not normal. Endeavor is like this, and that is why he became like this. Toya, he's like, what am I supposed to do then? Like, I'm worthless. And he gets pissed off. He tries to attack Todoroki, not Todoroki, Shoto, sorry. Todoroki is the last name, so yeah. So yeah, he tries to attack Shoto, and then obviously Endeavor is like, oh, don't let Shoto go close to him anymore. And here you can see that he again tells Ray that, oh, you go and tell him, like, I'm not going to face him. Another big mistake, like I said, he never faced Toya after that. And Ray says that you're just running away. And yeah, Ray is like, you are, where's that part? Okay, yeah, Ray says you're just running away, you just don't want to face him. And obviously, like, putting everything on Ray as well starts to make Ray's mental situation deteriorate even more and more. Like, he's making this troublesome situations. He's the cause of all problems, and he's just shoving all the cleanup work to Ray. He's making the problems, and he's like, oh, Ray, you do the, like, you handle the situation, which is obviously something that is starting to affect Ray's mental health as well. Like, imagine just making trouble for someone, making like that type of a situation, and just putting everything on the other person and say that, oh, you take care of it, and just leave. Yeah, she has to get all the negative thing from, and that affects her mental health as well, and she became like that. So anyways, after that we see that scene where Shoto is like, like kind of looking at all of the siblings. They're playing. In that scene, we have seen multiple times where Endeavor grabs him and, like, drags him away. And we get to see here Toya trying to talk to Natsu and saying like, oh, like, none of the women of this family understand me. Like, I know I can do this. And he just, like, complaining about Endeavor and everything. However, Natsu's like, oh, please stop, like, talk to Fuimi. Why are you bothering me? And he's like, yeah, none of the women's understand me, this and that. And but Natsu even kind of doesn't really talk to him because he's been doing this for so many times. He tries to go on alone with his training. His mom comes and stops him, and obviously he's completely bitter. He thinks like, yeah, no one in this family understands me. So his mom trying to kind of comfort him, she's like, oh, like, where are you going? You're going to hurt yourself. He just completely goes off on her. He's like, oh, what do you know, mom? And starts telling her how she is someone who's just been sold off here, this and that, which obviously affects the mom's mental health as well. And there you go, she becomes more and more miserable. And you can see her looking at, like, that eye, Toya's eye, like that. And now here's one thing. Oh, never mind. I was going to say, you remember one of those sections where she was talking to the phone and probably his parents, not, or someone else. She was talking and she said that, oh, day after day, his eyes resemble his dad. I'm so afraid to look at him. I was going to say maybe she was actually talking about Toya here, at this point. But probably not. She was talking about Shoto. So yeah, never mind. I was going to say maybe she was talking about Toya over there in the phone, and then Shoto came in, and after looking at his eyes, she dropped the boiling water. But nah, probably not. Anyways, so after that, we see here. I need to read this part. How did his flame become blue? And I'd finally hit puberty. As my body changed, my flames also changed from red to blue. Okay, and he says, I see, this is like a bodily function after all. When I get excited, there was a direct link to my firepower. So when he gets excited, his flames turn blue? Is that what he's saying? I don't know. Something like that, I guess. And he also says, like, he also starts crying. So whenever he gets excited, his firepower increases and he starts crying. So basically that, kind of like that. So he's like, oh, this is like some crazy firepower. Dad will be happy. So he goes back to dad and he's like, oh, like, dad, you have to come to the park this day, and the dad is like, wait, you're still practicing? Looks at him, burns, and he's like, oh, don't do that. Why are you doing that? And he's like, oh, I don't think I'd lose to All Might as well. And I'm sure you'd have to accept it as well. I will make you glad I was born. And there you go. Like I said, Endeavor conscience never wanted to confront this. He knows what type of a bad person and what person he is, what decisions he have made, what despicable decisions that he has taken. He knows that. And to run away from that, he never really confronted Toya. He always told Rei to do that. However, here, immediately he comes in contact with Toya and realizes, and he gets confronted, and his conscience, gets him, and that pisses him off because god damn it, why am I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like Fuyumi is like I'm mixing up their name. Rei, he goes and immediately confronts Rei, and he says that, oh, like, why were you not, like, looking after him? And because, yeah, he got confronted with that scene, and his conscience, he realized, his conscience, like, made him realize what type of a messed up person he is, and he didn't want to confront that. And that's why immediately the person he goes to is the mom, and he hits her, and he's like, oh, I told you to keep an eye on him. And the mom says, what does the mom says? Okay, Yeah, the most my options were limited, but I chose and moved forward on my own feet. At least I thought I could try to keep smiling, but here everything breaks. I couldn't stop him. Here we go. And Endeavor is like, you do it. I'm not going to. Like I said, he doesn't want to confront him. You do it. And yeah. Hey, what can you see right now? Stop looking at with those eyes. Stop looking at me with those eyes. And yeah, then obviously that happened. Like, like the Shoto situation burns him, and then she gets, taken to the hospital. And after that, from the hospital, she got to know what happened to Toya. And Endeavor never went there to the park, and we saw he kept waiting there, broke down completely, burned the whole place down, and he himself caught fire in it. And hearing about that, the mom completely lost her mind. And yeah, that's the whole story. So there you go. And now Endeavor is like there, here, just in the hospital. He's thinking about all that time, and he's like, after I killed Toya, I couldn't go back. Yeah, the monster of surpassing all might kept in going more and more inside of him. All I could do was concentrate on Shoto. Ray says, as your feelings escalated, you became repulsive to me. I even started to see vestiges of you in the children. Yeah, and then Fumi says, even though I know we were breaking apart, I was too scared to dig deep. And like Natsu also didn't really listen to, So yeah, so there you go. They're saying, yeah, obviously you're the person who's maximum at fault. However, we also were a little bit of the problem, as well. So we as a family are going to stand together. The responsibility is shared with all of us. And then she said, yeah, Ray says, like, a child who must have suffered so much more than we did. He called me mom again, even though he had every right to hate me. He made friends, talking about Shoto, obviously. He says, like, yeah, he forgave me. So, and you as well. So, yeah, like, because of him, because of Toya, who is still suffering now, we all of us will take shared responsibility and will fight together. And yeah, Shoto holds his hand to Endeavor. He says, like stand up, we'll do this together. We'll all go to stop Toya together. Okay, now in comes Hawks, and Hawks is like, oh, I heard you, I was eavesdropping. And he's like, we'll also, kind of come with you. And Ray kind of apologizes to him because, I guess you could say that is the reason why he got that hurt. So she apologizes to him in behalf of her child. And yeah. And Hawks is like, ah, nice, okay. Yeah. Oh boy. And there you go. So here, Hawks is like, all right, so we need to ask you a few questions. And we can see here how Hawks kind of looks up, but kind of appreciates Shoto, because he, in his head, you remember the previous episode where he said, like, I actually just gave up on my dad and mom. Obviously the dad was someone who definitely he gave up on. Okay, he is too far past the line. Just ignore the dad. The mom, at least, he gave up on his mom. And like, and that's something that Todoroki never did, which he appreciates, because now he realizes that he should not have completely just gave up on his mom. And Todoroki was able to do that. He didn't give up, and in the end he was able to push through and just forgive everyone. And now everyone is a lot better. So he's like, oh, you're quite cool, Shoto. Okay, so yeah, and then he talks about the situation, how so many prison facilities have been broken out of. A lot of prisoners are out in the wild, and people are losing all faith in the heroes. And people are resigning, civilians who are trying to take everything under their control are hurting themselves. And here, okay, this part I need to read, where he talks about heroes from other part of the world. Currently, the government is requesting rescue teams and heroes from other countries. But since the Safety Commission are at a standstill, paperwork to dispatch heroes can be completed. So we can see here 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 silhouettes. I'm guessing these are heroes from other parts of the world. It'll be interesting to see them. Maybe we'll see them. Otherwise, why would they show silhouettes here? I guess. So, but for now, the no dispatch, like heroes are not being able to dispatch because of the situation. So he's like, all right, we need to do something about this. We have no choice but to fight. But before that, they need to confront the media as well. And Hawks is like, don't constrict this to your family, only to your family, include us as well. Okay, and he says that he thinks here, even if what Dabi said about the Todoroki family was true, I'm sure things are different. Oh no, not this part. Where's the part where he talks about the whole All Might situation? Just a minute. Okay, okay, then he starts talking about the media, how they're going to confront the media and all that. And here we go. Here's where he talks about the suspicious part. He says, one thing I'm still unclear about. What is one for all? There you go. And when this was happening, I said that in that episode. I was like, yeah, people are going to, not people, but at least Endeavor and a few of them are going to suspect something about the whole connection between Midoriya, All Might, Shigaraki. Why did Shigaraki actually try to target Midoriya? What the hell is going on? What is all one for all? And so there you go. So I'm guessing a few of them are going to understand, like the whole thing is that the reason why they try to keep the quirk a secret is because of how people have this symbol of peace in mind because of that, and how they did not want the villains to know that Midoriya has the quirk. But now the villains know Midoriya has the quirk, so that's all null and void. You don't need to think about that anymore, I guess. The people, I guess there's still that problem with the general public, how they're going to look at this. So we need to still keep this a secret. But I'm guessing at least from this point onwards, I'm guessing at least Hawks and the top few are going to know, and it's going to come out. And I'm guessing All Might will probably disclose to them the whole secret. At least the top few. Bakugo already knows. Maybe Todoroki will get to know as well in the future. Endeavor will probably get to know. Hawks will probably get to know. Best Genius will probably get to know about the secret of the quirk. And All Might will probably disclose all of this to them. It will probably be limited to this group or something. I don't know. Let's see. But I think that's how it is going to go. And Todoroki's family will also probably know. Rei, Fuyumi, and Natsu. So yeah, and Hawks is like, we need to go and talk to Midoriya, and we see Bakugo just screaming at the top of his lungs. Then Froppy and the others are trying to take him away, and Ida and Uraraka are keeping eye on everything. And here we see Hawks come in, and he's like, oh, I want to talk to Izuku Midoriya. And Ida's like, oh, All Might is there, and he immediately connects a few dots, and he's like, wait a minute, All Might is here, and he's like, there's something going on over here, and what in the world is on for all? We need to talk to them. And yeah, that's where it ended. A great episode. I really loved it. Here we get to see the whole what's the word? Whole situation, the past of the Endeavor and situation, the Toya situation and all that. Everything is cleared up now, and not only that, we see the family coming together again, and yeah, we also get to see Hawks kind of suspecting something about the whole All Might situation. So let's see what happens next episode. Either way, that was it. That was a really good episode. And yeah, that was it. So thank you for watching, guys. This was my reaction to episode 17 of My Hero Academia season 6. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know, and I'll check them out. And yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching, guys. I will see you guys next week with another episode of My Hero Academia. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.